everyone, and welcome to Season 4 of the Eternal Ex-Wolf Pack Paranormal Podcast. And tonight, we have a team on that has been on the show the last 3 of them for Season 3. They were our part of the roundtable discussion, but we never really got to meet them. So tonight, we will be talking to David Salt and his team, the Heart of Illinois, the Center for Unexplained Phenomena, Hiccup. So let's bring them in tonight, and we're going to start off Season 4. Here we go. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey there. How's it going?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys? Can you hear me?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Staying warm out of the snow.
Oh, if you ordered the snow, you guys can keep it. You know, I don't want it back. Definitely for sure.
Over winter. Over it.
Hello, Susan.
Hello, Susan Victoria.
So, you guys were a part of the roundtable discussions of the last few shows of Season 3. And tonight you're on here. We're highlighting you guys. Dave, are you?
Yes, sir.
You started this team. How did you get into it?
I did it with James.
James.
Doc.
Yeah. We just came together and decided. Well, he wasn't too sure about. And when I said I wanted to bring this together, he wasn't too sure he wanted to get back into it. He does a lot. He didn't realize he did as much as he did, but I think I talked him into it, and I don't know if he's regretted it ever since.
Another one of his crazy schemes. Wasn't there a lot of arguments about who's going to be president also?
Yeah, it was the whole idea of, he's like, oh, I don't want to be president.
1, 2, 3, not it.
So you got elected, huh?
Yeah. Well, they like to throw me out there to the wolves. So it's the one thing of I interact very well with promoters and stuff like that. And if I don't think of places, James does or Sylvia does. Sylvia's like a Rolodex of paranormal locations. So I just interact with people.
That's awesome. How did you guys come up with your name?
That'd be
I did. I was actually working on one for a friend for a name that would work as an anagram, and I started kind of tweaking and testing ours. I used to run a team called Tazewell, Illinois Paranormal Society. It was a team. And I came up with that name as well. We had been active for a while, and Dave was doing this, and I was like, well, I want a name that represents that we're not just about ghosts, because I'd like to be kind of everything: cryptids, ghosts, aliens, whatever's weird. And I was like, well, Heart of Illinois is a lot of things in the area, and like the Heart of Illinois Fair, there's an outfit called Heart of Illinois Vending. So I started there and kind of started messing around with it, and I was like, well, let's make it sound like we're like a professional research center, and Heart of Illinois Center for Paranormal Unexplained Phenomena, Hiccup. And then I drew the ghost to look like he's going hiccup.
That is kind of cool, especially with the abbreviation of all that.
There's been many discussions of the fact that it drives my wife and several other people nuts that it's not correctly spelled hiccup. It's kind of like, that's the point.
That's kind of the joke.
Yeah, you get it. Makes you pay more attention.
True. Well, that is true. For real.
Nobody else gets it except us, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you always got those skeptics. It's got to be exactly perfect on how you spell things too. You know, it's got to be exactly the way it is, or it's not what it is. but it's kind of catchy and it's cool stuff.
Well, we like to investigate anything.
Well, I guess I'll have to throw another C in there somewhere.
Nah.
It's fine.
Would have enough room on our shirts, but
Not
no
a fun.
C.
Not with all our branding already. That
Yeah.
cost a fortune.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, that definitely costs just to change a letter just for that. Dave, how did you get into the paranormal itself?
Paranormal as a kid, I guess I was kind of a really strange kid anyway.
No.
Yes.
I like how he says was.
Yeah.
I was always the one to, if I sensed something, I would go right after it. If I was riding out, with my friends or out riding a bicycle through the woods or something like that, and I heard something, I'd want to investigate it. And that's just the way I grew up. And then through high school, I started going to like cemeteries once in a while, and then just kind of blew up from there. But when I first started, I didn't have all this electronic stuff that we do now. I had a cassette tape recorder, full size. I mean, I wasn't carrying around a reel to reel or an 8-track, but that's all I had. And I would use stuff like bells, things like that, and it actually worked. And I was always into history. I was always into what happened in history. Why did it happen? What followed? What was the progression after that? Like in certain areas in battlefields, because you'll get a lot of paranormal on old battlefields or anything near them or any Native American mountains.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get energy from really anywhere, and it's it doesn't have to be nighttime. It's 24/7.
Yeah,
very true. Very, very true. Heath,
Yeah.
this is the first time I've got to meet you. How are you?
I'm probably the newest member of the team.
we couldn't do it without you.
No. Well, I don't know about that. But, I actually had kind of been with the team in other aspects of doing fundraising stuff. And they were talking about, they got this team together. I was really interested in it. But I've never actually investigated before because my background was in tech. I have a bachelor's degree in graphic design and multimedia. So I've done a lot of documentaries for school and things like that, special effects and intros, and even wrote my own short story. And we did an intro video for that, which one of them I won an award for special recognition at one of the film festivals.
That's cool.
So that's kind of what I'm hoping to bring to the team. The reason I got into the interest of it was growing up, I always had a big connection with nature. I had always thought I was part Native American because I felt more in touch with, being out in the trees. I could feel the atmosphere, or what was going on around me was a big interest. I had an experience about 14 years ago. I was in the house I'm living in now, and I was standing out on the back deck, and it's about 1:30 in the morning, quiet, everything's completely dark except a few street lights. And I saw a woman that was transparent on the other side of the lake, almost like she was skipping down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as she got to the street light, she just vanished. And I was just blown away by that. I had always had an interest in paranormal, watched all the shows. Of course, I was the guy sitting in the chair trying to debunk it.
Right.
Like, oh, that's probably just high EMF or, whatever the case. And I used to use FLAIR for house inspections a long time ago. So, I was a little familiar with how that worked also. But that's what got me into it. And I was really excited when the guys said, hey, why don't you come on and do our tech stuff for us? So that led to me buying my first kit last week or 2 weeks ago. And so I'm going to be doing on my first investigation coming up this weekend or next weekend, actually. Next weekend. So I'm really excited about that.
So they haven't told you yet, right?
I've been warned about a few things. Unfortunately, I am bunking with him, so I'm a little scared about that.
Hey, Cameron.
But yeah, it's so kind of this is my break-in investigation.
I think there's a chili cheese dog.
You know when you join a team, the rookies always get sacrificed first. You do realize.
I had a feeling that was coming. I'm sure there's going to be like, okay, guys, let's check out this room.
Thanks.
Wham, slam, block. That's what I anticipate. So
Ruin the surprise, Sean. Thanks.
yeah.
Hey, man, it keeps him on his toes, man. You got to breaking the rookies right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to grow my fingernails out, so there's claw marks on the door where I'm trying to get out of. So
I see a closet in your future.
You got to make it look interesting after the fact, right? It's like, oh, they stuck me in here. We got to have a fight now.
yeah, might as well. So
I can see it's going to be like Young Frankenstein. What's the matter with you people? Can't you take a joke? Let me out, mommy.
I've already asked to get the holy water, the talisman, everything to protect me because I have a feeling this is going to happen, and I'm going to be on my own. So if I wind up in another dimension or being sucked into some portal, this will be my evidence of what happened. They threw me in a room. So.
Well, if one of those portals actually opened up and I was standing there, I'm going to go through it because I want to find out what's on the other side. But
Exactly, that's me.
It can't be any worse than our current timeline.
I'll be going through it, but it won't be by choice. It'll be a hand on my back, or it'll just take me in.
Foot on your butt.
Listen. We'll give you words of encouragement. We do it. You got this, buddy. Go on. Yeah.
I'll be like, I'm just the tech guy.
See if the tech works on the other side. You're good.
Oh, hell. It's always fun when you get the new ones on the team and then you get to experiment with them to see what they'll do during the time of investigations and how far you can get them to go.
There's going to be a camera on him at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll definitely have to make the blooper reel, I'm sure, eventually down the line somewhere.
It'll make a good Christmas video.
Merry Christmas from Hiccup, and it just cuts to Heath.
Well, the sad thing is, being the tech guy, I'll have to make the video. So.
He'll edit himself out of it. I don't know what happened. Dave, what about you, my friend? How'd you get involved?
Me?
Yeah.
Hillbilly.
Yeah,
It's backwards.
It's backwards. Okay, my bad. Hillbilly.
Hillbilly.
That's because our tech guy didn't do it.
I thought I had it lined up. I got it lined up right over here, sort of.
I thought I was having an out-of-body experience just now.
You're fine. How I got into paranormal and unexplained research was, without going into great detail, my grandmother was a practicing witch. My grandfather actually left her and took my mom and aunts, and I didn't know this until way after, but things have always gone around like my mother, and I started picking up on that when I was a kid because we spent a lot of time with my mom. I had my first rememberable experience where I actually realized what it was when I was in high school. I was at my girlfriend's house at the time. She had left. Her dad had left. And I thought her brother was still there. And I heard her calling me from the garage. So I went out to the garage. And like several things happened in the house, but that's the time it tried to kill me. Knocked down a shelf and like an
I'm gonna
I-beam
stay in the room with
on
him.
me. So that was interesting, but it also, whatever was in that house also locked me into a basement that had no door on the lock, or no lock on the door. Wouldn't open up, pushed me down the stairs, that kind of thing. So that was kind of interesting. So I started looking into that. I joined a paranormal 2000s called Pure Paranormal. Then that team split, and then started a new team called Peoria Paranormal Research Group. Was with them for quite a while. Started having kids, took a break, and then joined up with these guys. The reason that I like this team so much, not only the camaraderie and obviously we get along real well in the humor, but it's not just focused strictly on paranormal. It's like he said, with the cryptids and just anything that's unexplained.
Right.
I'm an avid hunter. When I was younger, I grew up in Arkansas. Saw something in the woods that I know was not a bear while I was deer hunting one year. Scared me bad enough that I didn't hunt for 2 more years. I took a 2-year break and then started doing research and kind of figured out what this thing might have been. My dad's mother, or my dad's grandmother, was I'm trying to believe if it's my mom or my dad's side. My dad's side was Blackfoot. My grandmother's mother was full-blooded Blackfoot. My mom's grandma was full-blood Cherokee. So there's a lot going on there. So I've done a lot of history research on that as well. So that's kind of drawn me more into the, not so much the paranormal side, but what else, the unexplained creatures and other things that might be out there.
So during that hunting experience that you had, what do you possibly think that was that scared you?
The light was getting low. I didn't get like a real foul odor or anything. I think I was probably 16, 17 at the time, hunting on family property. But I think it was either some kind of Bigfoot type creature, Sasquatch, whatever you want, people call it different things, or some kind of wolf creature.
Yeah, it was just Dave Warner.
Dog man, maybe?
Like maybe a dog man, something of that nature. I didn't know about dog man at the time, so I knew it wasn't a bear. I've seen tons of bears.
Could have been
in Arkansas. It might have been my future mother-in-law. I'm not sure.
My
The first one, not the current one. In case she's watching, I'm not talking about you.
Sure.
No, I kept hearing noises, and then the woods went completely still right before dark. And
Never a good sign.
about 15, 20 minutes before light was all gone, I had kept hearing noises all day, just kind of moving closer to me. And then right when I was getting ready to come out of the stand, something stood up, and it was huge. And I was like, that's not a bear. And so I ended up staying out there for most of the night. I had people come look for me because I wasn't coming out of that stand. And I had a gun, but I wasn't going down on the ground because I can't see in the dark. So,
You seem to attract a lot of stuff.
well, I think that's the family curse.
Anybody want to switch hotel rooms?
That's
Nope.
definitely interesting. Did you catch any footprints by chance that were odd?
At that time, I wasn't even going anywhere near that thing. Like I said, I explained it to some of my family members of what I thought I saw. And most of them like, yeah, it's just a light playing tricks on you, this and that. It was a bear, this, that, and the other. My great-grandmother told me that was the man of the woods. That's more than likely what you saw as the man of the woods. And she was heavy into her culture, being Native American. And yeah, she was pretty adamant that I saw the man of the woods. So,
But he's supposed to be a protector, isn't he?
I don't know, but she said it. He didn't mean to scare me. She was just letting me know he was watching me, and I was like, "Well, he got the point across."
Interesting.
Yeah.
Doc, what about you? I know we've talked about it a little bit before, but
Yep. So my parents, when I was 3, they bought a house in Joliet that it had a lot of unexplained stuff going on, and I grew up with my grandmother telling stories about an old farmhouse that she had back in the 60s when my dad was a baby. They rented it for like 3 years. And so I grew up with lots of ghost stories and found it interesting and fascinating. So I've pretty much studied, weird stuff like that my whole life because my grandmother was into it. She was actually one of my members on Tips. And we'd go ghost hunting together and stuff. And we first went in 2002 to a cemetery that's about 45 minutes to an hour from here. That I was in high school at the time, and the local legends about it and how it's haunted and stuff. So we're like, we got to go check this out. So we went out there during the day, and we had a SLR film camera and a like a mini tape deck voice recorder about yay big.
Yeah, mini.
Yeah, they're real small for the time. It was came in at a totally portable 42 pounds. And, we went out there during the day and kind of scoped out the cemetery and stuff. And then we went back that night, and we were listening to the tape after we had went during the day, and it sounded like a woman yelled help, but none of us heard it at the time.
mm-hmm.
And the strangest thing about it was we rewound and played it back a few times, and it replayed like 2 or 3 times, and then we didn't hear it anymore. It just vanished off the tape. And then we went out there at night and explored around, looked around and stuff. Nothing really fancy happened. But when we were leaving, there's some old gates there, and we went through the gates, and my grandmother closed them behind us. And she was looking at the cemetery, and it kind of goes uphill. There's a little bit of a ridge, and then it goes back downhill. And she saw somebody, like the silhouette of a person, kind of like run across. And she goes, "Oh, it looks like your buddies who told you about the place from the high school got here late. I think they were trying to scare us." I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's isolated. There's nothing around.
Mm-hmm.
There's houses a couple miles away. And we were kind of thinking about it, and we're like, huh. So we would go out there to test new equipment we got and stuff as we got more into it and more serious about it. And over the years, we got loads of EVPs, a bunch of weird pictures we can't explain. And she saw that same apparition, I think a total of 5 times. 2 or 3 times it was in the daylight. Broad daylight, looked like somebody just kind of running. But yeah, I've studied it my whole life. I've watched every show about like ghost stories and stuff that I can, and I just find it absolutely fascinating. And when my grandmother on my mom's side passed away, I feel like she followed me around. Her dying wish was for me to go back to college and get a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like sitting upstairs in my bedroom, and all of a sudden the light would turn off. Why am I sitting in the dark? It did it in the garage once too. And I was telling my grandmother on my dad's side, who was, we were ghost hunting buds, and I was telling her about it. And she goes, "Well, that's really weird." And we had a screen door upstairs to separate the cats who would fight each other. So she was cooking pork chops, and she says, "Well, I got an idea." She goes, "Hey, Frankie, come on down. The pork chops are almost done." And we heard that screen door go bang. And I'm like, all right, this is interesting. And when I went back to college, start working on school, it didn't just drop off, but it faded really quickly where it stopped happening. Like she was happy I was back in school and stuff. So I've studied it my whole life, and I count myself as an investigator since 2002. And I've just been fascinated with everything. She and I also have seen UFOs and stuff. My family has land out by between Farmington and McQuon. And we were out swimming in the ponds one night, and we saw it was like a ball of light with 3 rays of light coming out of it, and it flew overhead silently. And we thought, well, that was kind of neat, whatever it was. And then 2 fighter jets about 30 seconds later, they came overhead, full afterburners on, and they were losing it, whatever it was. And I was like, all right, that was interesting. So I've always been interested in the strange and unusual.
So that's awesome.
That's probably why we get along so well.
Yeah.
Same.
Me and my daughters were going down County 10, back there behind the gates, if you know where that's at, by Galesburg, Illinois, in that area, because it's not far from McQuon. But we were coming back from Dahinda one night, and we seen some weird object fly over us that night, and we could never figure out what it was. And we followed it as far as I could do it. And I thought she was recording it before I actually stopped and got a picture of it. I thought she was recording it on her phone, but she was sitting there playing with her other stuff. But when I first seen it, you could actually get out of the vehicle and probably throw a softball and hit it. But I've never seen anything like that before in my life. And about 6 years later, somebody verified it flew through Abington, Illinois, and black vehicles were following it and lost track of it. So that must have been where we picked it up. And we lost it down in this area where we couldn't go any further. And then we just seen a bunch of lights, and then it was gone. So I don't exactly know what that was. And then here not long ago, I was coming back from a cookout from Eternal Paranormal, and something strange happened with me coming back from their place. But I was looking for the exit sign to Galesburg. You know, you get off the interstate and there's a bunch of lights. You can't miss the exit.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, everything around my vehicle got dark, except when I looked out the rear view mirror, you seen lights doing this.
Oh,
All you seen. And for some reason, I couldn't see anywhere except just enough in front of me to see the lines on the road, but everything was black besides what was behind me. And then the next thing, I was clear over by Brimfield before I actually, that blackness come off my car.
oh, wow.
So that was not far from where I seen that object. So that was kind of an interesting thing that happened to me last fall. But that was one of the strange things. But
Yeah, back in the 90s, we were camping out there because it's an old strip mine that they have. And my dad was excavating to build a house there. And so we would just go every weekend and work on the excavating and then camp overnight. And we were sitting by the campfire, just me and him, just chatting and talking and stuff. And out there, especially back then, the light pollution from the cities was way, way less. So you could actually see the haze of the Milky Way with the naked eye. And you could see the satellites going overhead, you know, just a little dot of light just traveling along. Well, one night we were out there, a nice, cool summer night, and we're just chatting, just had dinner and stuff, kind of planning the next day. And we see this light. It almost came over directly over the top of us. It missed us by a few hundred feet over towards like the west, but it was way lower than a satellite, way lower than a plane. And it was like a light that was like fading on and fading off, just constantly doing that. And it just glided overhead, not almost right over the top of us without making a sound. And we're like, I said, well, I'm not sleeping tonight. We're just in hints.
the object me and my daughter seen never made a sound either. So we thought that was the most strange. And like I said, it's nothing I've ever seen. And we even got in the vehicle from the location. We thought it come up out of the timber area from the south. We went back there driving around, and we still couldn't find anything that would come up from that location. So that was kind of bizarre. But like I said, and then last fall that happened to me with that deal. So, and that wasn't far from that location that happened at. So it's strange that you mentioned McQuon, and I'm not far from McQuon and that location. So Sylvia, how'd you get involved? Last but not least.
Okay, well, I have always been fascinated with the paranormal. I was, again, a weird kid. And
it seems to be a common thing in this group.
oh, yeah. Well, I was always the kid with my nose in a book, and the books were usually about the paranormal, the strange, the mysterious, the weird. Um,
James.
um, I have cousins that live in Madison, Wisconsin, and they would come down to visit. I grew up in the Chicago area. They'd come down to visit every few months, a couple times a year. And the four of us cousins were pretty close in age. And every sleepover we had always followed the same protocol. My cousin Carl would regale us, the four of us, with all the dirty jokes he had heard in the last 6 months or whatever. But then after he got done with that, and after we got done making him tell our favorite dirty jokes again, then the ghost stories would start. And I was just immersed in this culture of telling ghost stories. And growing up in the Chicago area, of course, I was just steeped in all of those wonderful historic ghost stories of that area. And my father was very interested in it too. And he's the one who gave me that love of ghost stories. And like I said, I always had my nose in a book. When I got to college, I decided, well, maybe I can try writing my own books. So I started writing fiction, started writing horror and romance. Fine line between the two, I know. And I never really got much traction with it. But, about 2009, I was contacted by a publisher who wanted me to write a book of true ghost stories. And I'm like, okay, this is a callback to my childhood. 10-year-old me would have just been astounded to know that I've been tapped to write this book of true ghost stories. So I did that, and I've just never looked back. I started writing my own stories or own true ghost stories. And it was through that I became a paranormal investigator, gathering material for the books, going out and meeting with members of other groups, getting their stories, and just sharing all this wonderful knowledge and all these wonderful experiences. And Doc and I were at Blood Moon Manor November of 2024. Yes, November 24. And we were exploring Blood Moon Manor, and he was talking about, I had been a member of a group before, and they kicked me out because I was too weird. I swear that's what it was.
You'd have to be seriously weird for that to happen here.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to be in a group.
So I had just.
Yeah.
I was so intimidating. Yes, I was so intimidating to him, I guess. But I'd been a lone wolf for a while and just playing with any group that would let me tag along. And then at Blood Moon Manor, Doc was saying, well, I'm a member of a couple of groups here. I've got, Bob After Dark, and I hang around with him. And I've got this other group called Hiccup. And do you want to be a member of that group? And I said, sure, I guess so. And then after Blood Moon Manor, we went off to that cemetery that Doc said that they had all those experiences in. And
many firsts there.
Yes, many firsts.
Keep it clean. It's only NC-17.
They're much too cold for that.
There we go. Just in case.
See, NC-17. You're
Now, you guys were sharing some videos earlier. I got one up here. The one with the door is from Blood Moon Manor.
That's from Whispers Estate in Mitchell, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner of the place, he does rent it out for ghost hunters and stuff. And there's a lot of stories surrounding it. And while he was giving us the tour before he left, because he just lock the door when you're on your way out. Okie doke. He was saying, well, this door, it's a closet door on the second floor in one of the bedrooms. He says, this door opens itself all the time. And I'm kind of a skeptical believer. So I'm like, oh, yeah, sure it does. Okay. Mm-hmm. And before this one happened, we were setting up our DVR camera on the other side of the room to point at it, and Bob was sitting in a chair right next to it, and he had a rook meter. It starts blinking and flashing, and the door just kind of clicks open. And I'm like, all right. So I tried to debunk it, opening itself. I jumped up and down in front of it. We walked past it, and I tried looking for any sort of like remote trigger mechanism, thinking, well, maybe the owner of the place is doing a gimmick. Could find nothing. So I was like, okay, I've got all explanations eliminated that I can think of. And I headed up the stairs here with just a full spectrum camera in my hand when this happened. And I kept my composure, but only just.
All righty, here we go.
It spooked me a little, honestly.
Well, that's the end of the clip.
I'm going to take a closer. Too late, I'm already upstairs. Alrighty, don't mind me. Holy moly.
You can see it so clearly in the mirror.
Yeah, you can see it in the mirror. I wasn't even close to it. I wasn't touching it.
Okay, that caught me off guard a little bit. It just opened. I walked up here and I said, "Don't mind me," and I heard click, click. Whoa! I walked up here.
Yes.
I said, "Don't mind me," and I heard click, click, and the door swung open.
Did you catch it?
The camera should have heard it. I didn't expect that.
Right after this, the camera
me a
said
little,
that
honestly.
the memory card was full, and I went, "Oh, please tell me I didn't get
I'm
that."
going to take a closer look. Guys?
Yeah.
I don't see anything. I walked up here. I said, "Don't mind me," and I heard
Didn't open though?
it did open.
It all
It
all the
opened
way?
itself, and I heard the bell ring.
Before you got in or after you got in?
I was standing right here, so I might have blocked the camera. So I was standing right like here. I was going to set this camera over here. I said, "Don't mind me," and I heard click, click, and the door started swinging open. It spooked me good. I won't lie. I was not expecting that.
I really wasn't.
That's actually pretty cool. I mean, to be able to catch that on the camera and nobody's around it, and you, like you said, you sit there and debunked it.
Yeah, I was looking in the keyhole in the doorknob. I also studied the door jamb, trying to figure out where there's some wires and a magnet in the door jamb. I couldn't find anything.
So, go ahead.
Story there. You noticed that right when Doc was setting the camera down, you saw Sylvia kind of come in frame. So in that frame before the door pops up, and you can see like a bright light from the other side. That's an IR light, and we had all these cameras that were wired just running throughout the whole house.
Right.
So at one point in the evening,
So my memory card was full, and I was like, "Oh no!" So I ran downstairs, put it in my laptop, and started the long transfer. And I was watching the screen, watching everybody on the cameras.
So the whole night it became a running gag because everybody in the group that was there, and it was our group and another group with us, very large place. If you ever get a chance to go, I recommend it. It's an awesome place.
It's a
to
beautiful
investigate,
house.
and it's super cool, pretty active, and very steeped in history. But the running gag was everybody in the investigating group, besides one person, Sylvia, got to experience the door coming open, whether it was right there in person or watching on these static cameras that we had around the whole house.
Right.
So it got so bad that every time she would go in there, it was like, "No, I'm not doing it for you."
Yeah, she was in there for over a half hour at one point trying to get the door to open.
That was right after that clip. I sat there on that bed, that 4-poster bed, and I talked and I begged and I asked and I asked nicely and I pleaded and I cajoled and for about half an hour, and that door stayed stubbornly shut. I said, "Fine, I'm just going somewhere else in the house," and I went down those stairs that you saw in the very beginning of the clip, and as soon as I reached the bottom of the stairs, I heard Doc from the dining room go, "The door's opening again." I
I was just in there.
So the whole night, we were breaking up in teams and investigating. I spent the last part of the night watching the static cameras and kind of communicating with people. Hey, I just saw this happen. Hey, I just heard this from this area. So about probably 37 times as they're walking throughout the house together investigating, I'd get on the walkie and be like, Sylvia. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, the door just opened. And you just hear her yell from inside the house.
The other weird thing we had happen there was I took the cables because there's like basement, main floor, second floor, and then attic, right?
Yeah.
So I ran those cables all over the place, and I took them up the stairs. So they came in one of the hallways. They went straight up to the banister, and then laid all over, and they laid there all night.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were getting ready to pack up for the night, I went upstairs. I think we were in the attic, and we came down.
Yes.
We come down from the attic,
yeah.
and one of the cables is now stretched. It was for the camera in the doll room.
They said it was like two of them.
It was one or two of them. I forget which.
I think there were two.
But they were now stretched tight and hanging in the air instead of laying limp on the ground. They were up in the
They
air
were
up
like,
the banister.
almost waist height.
Yeah, so you couldn't even get into a couple of the bedrooms because it was hanging in the air like that. And I was like, when did this happen? And I got on the radio and I was like, hey, Roger, have you moved anything downstairs? And he goes, no.
Were you pulling on the cables or something in preparation for taking him down?
Yeah,
and he hadn't been.
I believe my response was, why the hell would I grab the cables?
Yeah.
That place had fun with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, question now. I'll aim this one to Dave. Has there ever been a place that you've been to that once you've got there, you've decided there's too much energy or something too much to handle there?
No. When there's so much energy and so many things happen, I find it very interesting, and I want to experience more. I want to see what they got. I've been with other investigators, and when things jump out or something gets thrown, I've seen investigators run out of the house.
Dave runs towards the danger.
I run towards the danger. If I'm looking for a cryptid or something like that, I go in the woods. My buddy's going, whatever's in there is going to eat you. I'm like, I want to see it firsthand. I want to pet this thing.
He wants to go looking for Dogman.
Exactly.
Hey, I'd be right there with him. I'd be right there.
I want to go look for Dogman.
I just want the video of you getting eaten, so I've got something to put on.
I'm right there with you. I go right toward it because I want to figure it out myself. So that's definitely.
I just like the thrill of the hunt, the unknown. If I'm able to get face to face with something like this, even if it devours me, at least I got to see it.
Right.
All the way through its intestines.
Yep.
Hey, what's the use if you don't enjoy the full journey?
I agree. Like I said, if a portal ever opened up in front of me, I'm walking through it. I'll make my little video cam, say, hey, if I come back, I'm coming back, but otherwise I'm going through. I want to know what's on the other side.
I mean, I've been in woods before where I've seen two trees that were growing up right next to each other. You could tell they were extremely old. On one side, not in the middle, but on one side it was clear vision. This is right before dusk. But on the other side, clear. Right in between them, blurry.
I have seen that happen. I've seen that happen in a cemetery up north that we were at. And like you said, it's clear on both sides, and it's got that wave of energy between those two trees. Like there's something there.
Exactly. I was tempted on throwing a stick through it and see if it hit on the other side, but I was unsure if something was going to throw it back.
Or a tree.
Well, one thing I did when I did see that happen, I actually walked through those trees. I walked through the middle of them, but I made sure I walked back that same direction too,
Exactly.
Mhm.
just to make sure whatever the case may be, at least I went through it to see what would happen. And then I turned around, I went back the same direction just for
Because
whatever.
I walked around the trees, the outside of the trees, because I wanted to see if I could see any different angles
Mm-hmm.
to see what was causing that. But so you can feel energy when you do when you see that.
So did you actually have a theory behind why that possibly could have been?
No, not really. The only thing I could think of is there would have been some sort of, I don't know if there would have been some sort of mineral constriction there, or minerals and trees and stuff like that. When it combines, sometimes it'll build up like a fume,
Right.
and sometimes that'll cause that.
Kind of like a runoff from a field that goes down into the ravine or the ditch, and it's got a weird glow to it later that night for whatever ball reason.
Yeah. So you try to figure out if there's any stone in between or anything else like that.
Yeah,
But-
what about just the life energy of the trees themselves? I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to go and the roots are going to connect if they're that close, generating their own energy field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, trees have a natural networking.
Mhm.
So
Communication network.
exactly.
And them being able to do that, and like I said, that energy behind it, is maybe the fact that we could see that energy, but we're not matching the frequency between what is exactly there to activate whatever's there. That could possibly be as well. Because like I said, I walked through mine at the time and then turned around and walked back through it the same way, because like you said, you don't know if there's actually a dimension shift there when you're seeing that. So if you did walk through it, you want to walk back the same direction for sure.
The day I seen that, I had my metal detector with me, and I went around the fronts and the trees and around them, and I did find long, square head iron nails. Found about four or five deep in the dirt.
That's interesting.
Did you have an EMF with you?
No, I didn't have none of that stuff back then.
I'm just curious what the energy level was reading.
Well,
No, it
Dave
would have
wants
been
to
nice.
run towards the danger, but I will tell you, there's been, I think, one time where I was in a situation, other than when I was younger, with whatever that was that stood up.
Mm-hmm.
That every piece of my inner brain that was saying that prehistoric,
Lizard brain.
the lizard brain, the prehistoric knowledge that's stored in there was like, you don't want to go through here, and pushed myself through, and that was at the Peoria State Hospital in the basement. One of the former groups that I was with, we were one of the first people to ever be able to have permission to go in there besides TAPS. Before it was right before TAPS came.
Hello, Lori.
Hey, Lori. And a friend of mine and I that were in this other group took a couple of our other friends who were like, dude, we really want to go see something, we want to hear something, experience something. I'm like, dude, some of this stuff will scare the crap out of you. And it started raining outside. It was thunder and flashing, and we were in the basement, and we came up to this wooden doorway, and we get ready to walk there, and Randy, the guy that was in my group, we both kind of just stopped at the same time right before we walked in. We just kind of looked at each other. I'm like, you get that feeling that you really shouldn't go in here? He's like, yeah. Out here, we can't puss out now.
Now, was that leading in from that bigger room into the smaller room, or was that into the big door into the electrical room?
So the small room in between, where it's been some years. I gotta think back. So the small room in between, you come down, you go around, and then there is the little narrow room that's got like the built-in bench in the wall. There's another doorway at the other end. You walk through, and that's where they had the stairs that went down into the tunnels that were blocked off with all the concrete chunks.
Mhm.
It was walking into that room.
Okay.
And it was like my prehistoric brain was saying, there's something in there that's going to kill you. And you might want to stay out of there. But we're like, nah, we brought people. We got to come down. As you walk through the doorway, it was a complete energy shift. It was just completely calm and peaceful on the other side of the doorway. And I'm like, yeah, that was something with us.
Yeah.
100% for sure.
When I'm with somebody, I'm fearless, but
Except for when they turn off the light.
We'll find out how fearless I am when I get shoved into a room by myself.
I had one, we were down in Alton, Illinois, back when it was the last year you could investigate the Mineral Springs Hotel. And we had done the event, and by random ran into Sylvia there, and she had told me a story about there's a couple of crypts in the cemetery in Alton there that are open. I'll let you tell your story.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I want to check this out. So we went, and I go into crawl spaces and attics. I'm not claustrophobic. I don't mind small spaces, even though I'm a big guy. And you climb down this hill, and there's the opening to this crypt, and there's nothing in there. It's empty now. And I walked inside of it because of her story, and standing there, and that's when the lizard brain was like, I don't like being in here. And it wasn't because there were bodies in here, or it wasn't anything that I could really rationalize, just I don't want to be in here very long. And I just kind of calmly walked out, but I was like, that's weird. That's never happened before. Of course, there was the pressure that we saw the first time, that we felt the first time we went to Blood Moon Manor.
That was weird.
Went down into the basement of the old farmhouse, and it felt like you were underwater. The pressure just increased. Middle of the day, nothing going on. And they were talking about the room where Walter lives. And it's underneath the stairs kind of. So I went in there, and it was a little unnaturally dark in that room. And the pressure increased so much, it felt like something pushing up against my brain. And it started giving me a headache. And I was like, nah, I'm done in here.
I walked into that room right before you did, I think, and it was like an instant sinus headache, just boom, 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 like that. But the backstory to the Alton story was that years before I had gone to the Alton Cemetery, and I was there with a group of friends. And we had gone to the McPike Mansion the night before on Saturday night. And then Sunday, we decided to explore the cemetery. Beautiful early October day, sun shining, gorgeous weather, nothing spooky at all. So we went to the cemetery, and we just scattered in all the different directions and just started exploring. So I went down a little swale and found this open crypt. I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's got to check this out. So I called everybody over. I was like, you got to check this out. It was so cool. So all of us were milling around that open area in front of the crypt and took a couple pictures. Nothing weird on the pictures at all. And then we all looked inside the crypt. None of us went in, but we looked inside, and there was like a big gulp container in the crypt. And I have got this thing about litter that I think it's really disrespectful, and especially in the cemetery.
Right.
I had every intention of walking into the crypt and picking up the trash and then leaving right away. So I walked up to the door frame, the lintel of this crypt, and all of a sudden I just stopped. There was nothing pushing back on me. There was nothing preventing me going inside. I just was completely disinclined to take another step. So I stepped back, and I tried it again, and again, I could not go any farther than the doorstep. And I backed up a little bit more, and everyone was still there. And I said, hey, guys, keep an eye out. There's something weird going on. So then I spoke up, and I addressed the empty air, and I said, okay, listen. There is some trash in the bottom of your crypt here. I think it's disrespectful. I would like to pick it up for you. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go in there, pick up the empty drink cup, and I'm going to come right back out. May I come in? And then I walked right on through.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what I did. I bent over, picked up the drink cup, and I went right back out. I kept my promise.
Right.
Told these guys about it.
And me, of course, I gotta check this out.
And this is 10 years later or something. 10 years. Well, yeah, every bit of 10 years, I think.
I think there really is something to that. You call it lizard brain, primitive brain. There is a reason that people are naturally scared of the dark. Just normal, everyday people.
Some people believe there's a similar reason why we get creeped out by dolls and mannequins too. Something
also
that's
true.
human-like,
Yeah.
but not quite.
But I think there's something stored in our brain somewhere from back, that things were out there that would eat us in the dark. And
Mhm.
we have to
Really?
make sure that, yeah. Not you, Dave.
You're too spicy.
But I think that goes. Oh my God. I think that goes like further, I think that's where your intuition comes from, that gut feeling you get about other people. Some people are like, man, I met this guy. He doesn't seem like he's, everybody else thinks he's super nice. And then you find out later something really crazy about that person, whether it's a guy or a girl, whatever. And you're like, I had a gut feeling something was wrong there. I think that's all intertwined.
They've scientifically proven some of that. They figured out that if you've ever been laying down, falling asleep, and suddenly you'll jerk back awake, that is back from when we slept in trees to keep you from falling out of the tree, basically.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there's definitely something to that.
Yeah, I think
Dave mentioned something there for a second, getting or laughing about getting eaten in the dark or whatever. When I was younger, that's one of the things that I got over my fear is I'd walk down the dark alleys in town because you didn't know what was coming out of them.
Exactly.
But I think after doing that for a period of time, your senses actually got more heightened than normal because you're walking down places nobody else would do that. And you could actually pick up different things.
When I was a kid, I was never afraid of the dark. But for whatever reason, I just could not stand driving past a cemetery at night. And Lakeside Cemetery here over here in Pekin was always the worst one. My grandmother would go up to Joliet and bring me back down here to stay for a while, and I'd ask her if she could take the alternate route home, or I'd always close my eyes. And I just find it ironic that now I wander around in cemeteries in the dark. Not yet.
Prepping you for it. So, Dave, your go-to equipment or non-go-to equipment?
My go-to equipment, K2 meter. But I mean, I do use minerals, and I like using myself. Last year, I think
He uses the old divining.
I told you about me sensing something when we were up north,
Right.
at Camp Tuckabatchee.
Mm-hmm.
That night, I sensed something, and I seen a few things at night. I sensed it. I opened my eyes. I'm looking around, and I sensed it. And that next morning, I tell Doc that there's something here. He's like, "Oh no, there ain't nothing here. We're in a cabin." And well, I had to leave to go home and come back. Well, he sends me this video. He brings a REM pod out, and he's sending me this video of it going off. There's nothing around this REM pod. Nothing. This is a huge room. He calls me, and I don't remember exactly what you said.
It's just kind of like, hey, I was just rearranging stuff, and I had a REM pod in one of my bags, so I just set it out in the middle of the cabin, and I think there's something to what you said.
But I've always been that way. I have a strong sense of when something's around me,
Intuitive.
when something's going to happen, or I see almost like a forecast of something that can be avoided.
I can agree with that.
I don't know if it's a sixth sense or, well, sixth sense. I really don't like a sixth sense. It's not even a dime, but
Yeah, I'm
One of your hyped up senses anyway. For sure.
but I like using myself sometimes as a trigger object if I can.
Mhm.
K2, but I've always liked using candles. Let's see, voice recorders. They work well,
Mhm.
work very well. Been running sound for 30 years, so I've heard stuff that once everybody's out of the room and everything, and all the mics are on and stuff like that, or one mic's on and you hear some strange voices. That
Mhm.
kind of creepy, but it's also interesting. But at those times, you don't really think about that kind of thing until later on. You're like, "Oh, I missed an opportunity."
True.
So you get kind of caught up in the moment. But yeah, the K2, the voice recorder, stuff like that.
Hillbilly. You're new. Or I was gonna say, hang on, son. I rearranged your name, so now I'm going off there a little bit. You're new to the team. Do you, besides being a tech and etc., do you bring any physical parts to you as
I mean,
empath?
I think for me,
Irritable bowel syndrome.
with my background and working with electronics in regards to videos and things like that, the biggest thing I probably would go for would be the EMF, to look for high magnetic fields that could cause people to have illusions, or as a debunking method. That would probably be what I would go for first. Second would be the flare, just to see for cold spots, since I've used it before in house inspections.
Right. Hillbilly, what about you?
I like Dave's answer with being a trigger object. I seem to trigger lots of things, but I think the things I use the most are a night vision cam with IR lights, and I always pair that with a digital recorder. That way, if there's something that we pick up just to validate, we can sync those up time wise and everything with the video and the audio. And the little cat balls. I like the little light up cat balls are cool, but a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, the little wind would make those go off." And say, "Okay, yeah, if you're in a house, where's the wind going to come from?" But I always couple those with the static cat balls, just the little plastic ones with the bell in them. If that thing starts rolling around the room, there's no way the wind did that,
Right.
And then probably laser grid. I like that too.
Cool. Doc.
Excuse me. Cameras have always been one of my go-tos. We've got some stuff on film, video. Dang, excuse me. But we've got a lot of strange pictures and stuff. And then for like more personal experience equipment, I like using dowsing rods. My dad is a dowsing witch. He actually found the water to do their well for out of their place and stuff.
Right.
So I have a natural talent for dowsing rods as well, but I like cameras. The thing I hate most is having to put all the evidence on the computer and then having to go through all of it to see if you caught anything, and you're just sitting there staring as your eyes glaze over. You have a guest.
Sylvia, what about you?
Oh, well, as
Well,
far
right
as
now-
equipment goes, I really appreciate the fact that we have little bitty recorders now. I've caught some pretty good EVPs using recorders. I do like dowsing rods. I come.
C-17. Right at the bottom.
I did nothing.
Right there.
I come at this. I'm one of those people who really wants to believe, skeptical believer, you said earlier.
Yeah.
But I come at it from a writer's perspective. I want interaction. I want communication as much as possible. So what I like is, again, using yourself as a trigger object. I have put on a lab coat in hospitals. I have worn a Civil War dress on battlefields in Gettysburg.
Me too.
Things like that.
Sorry.
But I'm a fan of, and especially if you find yourself in, oh hey, this location's haunted, I think I'll do a little bit of poking around, but you don't have a camera or a full spectrum camera or recorder or whatever. You can always use the recording function on your phone, but you can also use yourself as a piece of equipment. You can do the human pendulum technique. I like that. I like using my own intuition, my own senses to do the investigating.
One thing I really appreciate about the way she goes into an investigation too is she really leans heavily into the history of being a historian, where she's like, why are these spirits here? Who are these spirits here? What's their story? And kind of alluding to what would cause these hauntings, and it really helps open up your perspective a lot. It's really great.
Yeah, that's the other angle I use, is the history angle, and it's something I'm very, very interested in. And I know, Hillbilly, you like to go into a site absolutely cold, but I find it much easier to tailor your questions. I think you're going to get better answers to the questions you ask in an EVP session if you know what to ask. I was talking with an avowed skeptic years ago, and he said it's like going onto a college campus, and you know that somebody passed away in the gymnasium, but you're asking questions in the science lab. That you're not going to get the best answers if you go at it.
That's what makes you a great historian and a great valuable part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you put in the effort to do that is awesome. And that's the total flip side of what I do. And you mentioned that I like to go in completely cold. That way, if I have something happen, I can run it past Sylvia later. Be like, hey, dude, this happened, blah, blah, blah. What do you know? Oh, yeah, that was, there's a story behind that. And all this, and it's really neat.
Well, Dave and I had just started Hiccup a week before Sylvia and I went out. We had just started Hiccup officially. And that's why I was like, I knew she.
That was my fault.
I knew she'd be a great addition to the team. That's why I asked, hey, you got a lot of experience.
But also here.
No, I love stories where the history informs the ghost stories. There are several stories that have come out of the Peoria State Hospital where the reason we have the ghost stories is because of the history.
Mm-hmm.
And those historical figures as spirits in the buildings, and I think that's wonderful.
Well, it adds the human element. They were people once, they're not just bumps in the night, shadows moving and stuff. these were people too.
Yeah,
And they
not
have a
just
story to be
disembodied
told.
voices.
Yeah, they had a story to be told.
Yeah.
So your research on the ground of somewhere that you go and investigate, and if you find something, it validates that even more because you've done the background research on it.
And that's why I like having Sylvia with us, is because, like I said, I go in completely cold. I don't want to know anything about it other than they say this place is haunted. Like, I'll stay outside for the tours and let them do the tours, and then I'll come in afterwards.
Yeah, but there's a good reason for that too, because you don't form a bias.
Exactly.
You don't say, "Oh, well, I know this is here or there," so it makes whatever you capture that much more genuine.
Yeah,
it's always nice to have someone on the team that goes into it with that attitude too. Like when we were at Billy Creek Village and you were outside filming and you caught that kid standing in the schoolhouse.
Yeah, that was crazy. I thought it was just somebody working there, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
The guy's like, no, there's nobody else here. I'm like, oh, well, I saw somebody.
I know being the lead of a team, just like Dave is, and the fact of learning about the location before you guys go in because of the safety of things. But I also understand the fact of, like Hillbilly talks about, because when I was on my old team, I didn't want to know when I walked into a place. I wanted to feel what I felt when I walked in. And the lead at the time was the one that did the research before, but now I do the research before I go in, because then I let my team or whoever's with me, and I'll compare what they got to what they found plus what I felt. And I think the fact of going in raw for me is a lot better, because then I don't have a bias of what's going on in there. So
That's why I do it, is because I want to have just a general knowledge of, okay, like I said, this place is supposed to have some kind of activity. Okay, well, we have somebody that knows pretty much everything that could be known about this place. So whatever I can pick up and compare it to what she knows, if it jives, that's awesome, because that gives credibility to the stories and a haunt.
right.
The other thing it does is, if I get nothing that doesn't disprove anything, but I go in there cold because I want to be skeptical, because whatever we do get going that way, like James said, it just validates it more. It's more genuine. They say, well, you knew about this and da da da, because it's like, no, dude, I didn't want to know.
Well, I still love the stories, but
I do too. I like
whenever
afterwards.
Whenever I go into a place, I still have the attitude of, okay, prove to me something weird is here. Yeah. Prove to me it's not just us investigators; it's something else too.
Yeah. That's why I'm very hard nosed on, if something happens, I want to stop right there and try to debunk it. If we can recreate it, great. If we can't, okay, what does that mean? What are all the factors that are going on at this particular moment? Because we're not going to be able to recreate this exact environment once we leave here.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And on the tech side of things, when I'm reviewing the video, I'm going to be looking for things like lens flare, stuff like that, that somebody might say, oh, that's an orb, when in reality it could be a car outside hitting the window and reflecting us. So.
Exactly. I can understand that. Well, guys, we are about 13 minutes over the hour. I know there's several of you, and I wanted everybody to get a chance, and I wanted to be, everybody to understand and who you are.
I had to stand up.
Thank you for that, Sean. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
But I am going to ask one more question before we all go. What's one thing you recommended all these new teams that's coming up that like to go to places that, how do I say, stir up the stuff and then clean? We got to clean it up. What would you recommend they do different?
Patience is a big part of it. And just be aware that there's going to be detractors, there's going to be doubters, and sometimes there's other groups out there that they don't play well with others. So you can't always expect it to be this great, positive, excellent experience, and everywhere you go to is going to be super active and books bouncing off your head and and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes nothing happens. Sometimes people are jerks. Patience is a huge part of it. And when you do meet others who are collaborative and open and chatty, make connections, make friends with them.
No doubt. I definitely agree with that.
The other one is when you go to these places, a lot of people just charge right in. Always set yourself up before you go through the threshold with, your protectors, your
Mhm.
spirit protectors, whatever you use, a talisman, if you use a cross or something like that. Go in with a clear mind. Because some of these people are going in with doubt, and then they got a lot of stress and everything in their head, and bad energy will always feed off that, no matter if it's good inside. But too much bad energy coming in can create a bad energy
Oh yeah.
within, and that's what it'll feed off of. So, best information I can give is just go in with a completely clear mind, state of mind before you go in. That way, you're going in with not evasive thoughts.
Right.
Yeah,
And dragging bad stuff into compound on top of it.
Right.
I would. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I think you said something about stirring a bunch of stuff up and then us having to go clean it up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think probably for new teams, do your research. Don't just walk in there with a spirit board, trying to open portals from a book you found in some archive or something.
Or a cabin.
Really do your research. Take it seriously. It is not a game. I've said it before. When you start trying to look into the eyes of evil is looking back at you. So it's real easy to bring stuff here. It's real hard to get it out of here. So if you're going to do stuff like that, do your research. Like Dave said, make sure your head's clear, keep some form of protection on you, and just go in there with an open mind and know that, bad things can happen if you mess around and take it too light.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I can build on that, one of the things my grandmother always taught me when she was teaching me, to do the witchcraft practice, never summon something you can't banish.
Yes.
I definitely agree with that statement 110%. Yes.
I would also add that we mentioned earlier that these were once people just like us. And this is their home. Sometimes they are still convinced that this is their home and perfectly within their rights to do so. So I would also say, go, if you are going into a place to investigate, go in with respect. Introduce yourself. You're going to get a better rapport with anyone you're trying to communicate with in the first place by doing that, and just don't be a jerk about it.
Yeah, I would say watch Ghost Adventurers and do the exact opposite. I swear.
Yeah.
If you're going to provoke, you need to also understand that most of the time I'd say that's probably not a good idea, but there are certain things that people have done stuff while they were alive that's just reprehensible. And, Doc and I, we both went after one spirit one time. It really ticked us off. So we kind of went after it. But you have to remember that there can be repercussions for that.
Oh, yeah.
It can get scratched. It can throw stuff at you. If you're dealing with something really bad, it could be a lot worse. But you really got to know that there's some kind of repercussions.
I definitely agree. I'd also recommend the fact if you're a new team just starting, team up with some of us older team members and learn from us, and just don't go in there raw, and because that could stir up a lot more problems in the long run. And if you're with somebody that knows what's going on, they can help you, walk you through it, let you understand it a little more. Have a just different
Jumping in shadows.
Yeah. have a different explanation for some things that maybe you don't understand. Like I said, I've got two great mentors that, you guys have met on the last few shows we were on, and they've taught me a lot. And then I've learned a lot from other teams, just talking to you guys like live now and learning things, etc. But it's always good to team up with somebody before you go out on the field on your own. And especially, I know I go out on some places, I go by myself, but if I do go, I make sure I take my protection with me and etc. Because there's nobody there to help me if something did happen at the time. But try to always go with somebody and let somebody know where you're going as well, because some places can be dangerous. I've been in houses where the floorboards were so bad you'd fall through the ceiling. If it wasn't for the whole team being there, we wouldn't be walking through those certain locations. But there's always somebody there to make sure you're safe. So it's always good to ask questions or find somebody to help you out, because everybody's constantly learning, and that's always a good thing. But don't think you always know everything, because not even us that's been in the field for long periods of time, we don't have all the answers either. But, asking around, you may find answers to your problem or your solution. And
if you don't know, there's nothing wrong with that. Not knowing is not a bad thing, as long as it's not like willful ignorance, in my opinion.
Right, exactly. Asking questions is probably smarter than going in there being, how do I say, ignorant. It's probably a good word for it.
Walking in blind, coming out blind,
But respect the guys that teach you stuff as well, because they've learned a lot, you've learned a lot, and even when you're teaming up with other members, and you still learn things, you're constantly learning. So that's always a good thing.
Oh, that's what I love about playing with other teams, is you always find new techniques, new ways of going about things,
better questions to ask.
Yes.
Sometimes I've been out with people that I don't ghost hunt regularly with, and they'll ask a question like for an EVP session. I'll just be sitting there going, "Ooh, that's a good one."
Or sharing ideas on equipment like smoke doors and stuff.
I'll get my tools.
My first hunt. The biggest thing I'm going to be doing is looking, learning, keeping my mouth shut, asking questions, and just this is going to be my. I'm going to be ignorant going in there, so I'm going to rely heavily on your guys' experience.
And if anybody's got any questions,
contact us.
If anybody's got any questions, they can look us up on Facebook, or if they want to meet us in person, we will be at the Franklin Lodge February 7th, next Saturday, from
10 to 4, isn't it?
10 to 4 in Alton, Illinois. We'll be at
Dead
Franklin Lodge from 10 to 4.
Yeah, it's the Dead of Winter Conference, and it is a fundraiser for food pantries.
Food bank.
So if you bring something for the food drive, you get in free.
Yep.
So I can't eat it, is what you're saying. I have to donate it. Okay.
You can nibble on it. You can nibble on it. Just wrap it back. No.
Like we told you before, if you bring a can of food, you got to open the can before you eat it.
Okay. I'll try to keep that in mind this time.
Yes, you can put our smiling faces in person.
But you're more welcome. Anybody that's willing to, if they want to come up and talk to us and talk technique or whatever, we'll have a lot of our equipment with us. We'll have some merch.
I'll have my books, and
books
we're sharing a table. I've got my books there. We've got the hiccup stuff there. And
yeah.
We'll all be there, available to answer questions.
Yeah.
We will talk your ear off like no other.
Obviously.
We have terrible dad jokes. Wonderful.
We're always there to meet new people and share experiences.
And photo ops with Hillbilly.
Famous president.
But I'm definitely looking forward to teaming up with you this summer when we get a chance. I know three of us, or actually should say 4 of us, can actually do some energy work, And I'd be interested to see what happens when we get together and do some energy work at a location and see what comes up. That would definitely be interesting to see. Because I've actually gotten, like I said, I've gotten pictures of one of my former teammates when we were doing energy work, and you can see things going between us and each other. And I thought that was interesting. And also down in the Masonic Lodge, that haunted happy hour caught on the SLS, the transfer of energy between me and one of the clients that was there that night. And that was actually pretty awesome. So it's always interesting to do that. And especially with, like new team or new members, like I said, teaming up with you guys and seeing how you guys react and stuff with that as well. But,
I have to be careful with energy work because I did some of that at Whispers Estate, and for the next 2 hours we got nothing. The house just everything's sorry, my fault.
I've actually walked into locations and I've actually had to go sit outside for a while for my teammates to actually get responses. Mm-hmm. So that is kind of normal for me in some aspects. So sometimes I'll just walk out and walk the perimeter and check it out. And then, like I said, I've even had them come over, say hello, tell my name. And I've actually had them come over and say, we don't like you. So, and that's happened more than once. So, or we don't want you here. So it's normal for me to come across things like that, but it's kind of fun getting those responses out of something that you can't see as well. So
we got some EVPs from the cemetery in Bishop. Sometimes that we actually get welcome because hey guys, we're back, talking to get welcome and this and that. But a couple times we've heard get out, go away. My favorite, my grandmother had her recorder and she was by a headstone and some grass was on the headstone and the name on it was Schroen. And she brushes the grass off and she goes, there you go, that's better, right? And this voice goes, get the heck away from Schroen and get out. Wow.
Yeah.
What about your first experience using the Phasma box here?
Oh my God. So
right about where he's sitting right now.
Yeah, so I got Phasma box for the laptop.
And now I know why you put me over here.
And, I fired it up. And I know there are still spirits in this house. I've only kicked out the bad spirits, namely my ex. But I fire up the Phasm box, and I was like, it's not making any noise or anything. So I go, is there anyone here who'd like to talk to me? And this woman's voice comes through. Now, mind you, I put it in airplane mode. I muted the microphones. So it's only... And this woman's voice comes through clear as hell. Not really, no. All right then.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, especially when you get comments like that. So, all right, guys, up the hour. Where can they find you guys at besides Alton at Franklin Lodge this coming weekend? Where else can they find you?
We're at we'll be at QuadCon as well, February 21st and 22nd. You can find us. That's at the Peoria Mall. We're also on Facebook, Heart of Illinois Center for Unexplained Phenomena -Hiccup. And we always love getting questions and stuff. You can also email us at hoiunexplained@gmail.com.
Hey, Greg. That's awesome.
Hey, Greg.
Hey.
Greg Koss is in the house.
Right
I
on.
plan on teaming up with him sometime this summer as well because he's not far from me as well. But QuadCon sounds good.
Yeah.
And if we work together, I'll bring out the portal spirit box that we built.
Cool. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And guys, it's almost been an hour and a half. I'm not going to take any more of your time. I appreciate you guys coming on tonight and opening up season 4 with me. And definitely looking forward to working with you guys this summer. And like I said, I don't know if I'll make Alton, but I might make that QuadCon because I do like comics and other stuff. So I do like going up to there.
It's
so
a good free con. You can just attend. It doesn't cost anything to get in.
Yep.
And I definitely might make that. If not, like I said, we'll definitely team up this summer for sure. And looking forward to it.
Saturday, but I'll be there Sunday for QuadCon.
Okay.
Some
All
of
right.
us may be in our other outfits too, but
We'll be raising money for St. Jude there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All righty. Cool. Maybe I'll bring a couple of my teammates if I can get them to go and meet up with you guys and maybe have lunch or something then when we're at the QuadCon.
that'd be awesome.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And
So-
Dave's fine.
All right, guys.
Okay.
You guys have a great night, and thank you again for coming on. I'm going to drop you backstage here real quick.
All right, thank
And,
you.
all
guys.
right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Definitely
Take care.
check out these guys and Alton at Franklin Lodge at the 7th, and the QuadCon coming up as well. Definitely check out these guys. So I'll drop you backstage, and thank you again.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank you.
That was the Heart of Illinois Center for Unexplained Phenomenon Hiccup. These guys are awesome. They were on a couple of my podcasts before on the roundtable. We've had some discussions. Definitely go check these guys out. Next week, we have Spectre Paranormal with Alfredo. So see you guys next week. Have a great night and stay safe, guys. I'm out of here.